The great polarities of we love what we hate. We hate what we love. We hate what we love because maybe we want to be something that we are not as of yet. And we love what we hate due to the fact that, what am I sponsoring? Some fresas. We love what we hate. We hate what we love. We hate what we love because we're competitive beings. We love what we hate because, aside from the polarities of things, we just things are just inherited, right? We might love to just be in a disposition of how our ancestors felt because they were our nearest role models. So within them being our role models, we were kind of like acclimated to develop ourselves to be as like our role models. But as we're growing up, we're finding out our role models are not the only role models. It's very humbling, to think like, you know, just to think, like your family isn't the only family, even though, so we have to be really like careful and gracious with like pride respectively. And I'm not dismissing anybody's pride, and there's like, it's okay to have pride, but it's not necessarily beneficial when it's like it has confusion and toxicity in the pride, which will darken the pride in a in a in a destructive fashion, So it's okay to have pride, and within that pride, that's like the surface level front of your character, and then the passion kind of moves the pride to go where it goes for it to feel itself, and then ultimately, like, more or less, the great polarity also as well of we love God and we hate God. We love source and we hate source, Source, thank you for everything. Oh God, why the fuck are you doing this shit to me? That type of shit. So it's like there's like a there's like a it's kind of like an oxymoron, of just like of like how we could like how we could have two totally different, energy perspectives, right? We could have two totally different, like, quote unquote identities even, right? And what I mean by those identities is we have different versions of ourselves, one that is akin to something that's quote unquote more light, end quote, and something that's more akin to more dark, end quote. And we're growing with those, obviously, and we're kind of like we're spreckling the different tinting shades of different light and dark upon that light and dark within different amplitudes and applications of clarity and confusion. So the great paradox and the great polarity is, it's like, wow, somehow there's a great creator that set this shit up, set the mother's haven. We'll just call it the astrological body, that the mother's haven. And within this mother's haven, the astrological body of the solar system, the mother's haven, it's been programmed over eons and eons and eons. And within the programming of eons and eons and eons, it's tailored for, particularly, no biases here, for physical species, any species, right? Like, so within that, it's not necessarily there's rules, there's just energetic, like, guidelines on, like, what there is to do to have like some type of like standard give and take transaction effect, which is like, the baby is not going to start levitating like at 1 years old, right? So within that, there's a great working that has to be achieved. There's a slowing down, consolidated process within being a physical being. So even though, like, there's different types of like energy beings that take and give energy differently, they're still under some type of construct of like laws of energy. original open source, whatever. Because it's not you that just feels like that, and it's not just you that just thinks like how you think. There's a whole fucking solar system out here, respectively. So it's like when people think like oh this shit is gay or something, or just something of that example. It's like you're not the only one. It's like there's other like Me Too factors out there too, like Me Too, Tamu, Me Too, Tamu, whatever. And within that, so there's like, so this shit has been set up. That's the thing I'm talking about. This shit has been like set up, and for some odd reason, within this part of the Mother Haven's body, the Scorpio area and the Libra area and the cusping of that area, and then the transition step of that area, within that they kind of like oscillate within their own like simultaneous like community assurance, and they're individuated at the same time. So it's kind of like a yin and yang effect when we're passing seasons. And within that yin and yang effect, the cusping of Scorpio and Libra, the threshold of that, it's just a passing of like oscillating energies, obviously. And within the passing of that oscillating energies, there's energy dynamics that physical species are tailored to that environment to that energy from the environment, and that energy of the environment is influencing the earth and the humans on that, and how the predecessors and the ancestors have worked with and came to like build that whole system of how it's been updated, the astrological body, and how it has a new programming, quote unquote HD, end quote. So within that quote unquote HD, end quote, arena, the when the moon hits in Scorpio tomorrow, we're gonna feel some type of like, raw, quote unquote, stingy energy, end quote. Like the our own ego is gonna get hit, just by us being with the dark life. What is the dark life? Us being on Earth, being in the physical realm, quote unquote physical, being more akin to quote unquote, a unique dark, respectively, end quote. And within that, we're gonna see how we forgot how this shit was built like this, and we forgot how like we're an individual, quote unquote, creature, end quote, amidst the bigger picture and the greater picture, right? In the great paradox and the great polarities. So within the cusping of Libra and Scorpio, aside from the new programmings thereof, and I know how like some people could think like astrology is gay, like that. Then this video is not for you. This is like a mature new understanding of it collectively. But within the cusp of like Libra and Scorpio, like the energies of those environments, those programs, we're having new understandings of those programs, right? And within those programs, that it's a certain location in the Mother Haven's body, and within the Mother Haven's body of whatever alchemy is going on in there, we're receiving that on Earth, and our human beings are receiving that, right? So within that, there's program details of within the Mother Haven's body of like, the whole Libra constellation. It could be looked at as all over the place because it's kind of like cardinal air. It's windy, right? But it's actually not. It's just acting from its own element of air, and it's starting different new particular cycles, and it's giving esoteric information, if we're higher octave and healthy with these practices, on like what it really means in the Mother Haven's body, and how somehow she's experiencing different temperaments throughout herself. She somehow got organized over like eons and eons and eons, mind you. And within that, from this part of the Mother Haven's body, we're transitioning from the esoteric energies of Libra to Scorpio, and from Libra being quote unquote all over the place, end quote, it's supporting like tribal dynamics of like how the energy laws are just resetted and restarted in its own like epicenter middle crux position point. within the astrological body, and now it's transitioning. Cardinal air is transitioning to fixed water, and now we're seeing from the dawn of like the cardinal air, after all these like spiritual di- dip, diplomatic practices have already been programmed and put into effect. Now we're on the new arena of the creature land, Scorpio. So moon in Scorpio tomorrow, it's going to be like we're going to feel something like Scorpio is such a great paradox, right? Because it's like we like the Scorpios have the capacity, and everybody's all the signs obviously, but it's up to you to tap into them respectively. But the Scorpio is like it's the great paradox because it has the capacity to embody a particular type of darkness, but it's also raw, and it could be like susceptible to any emotion because it's a standard unique dark individual, right? So within that dark individuality, it's like and I've been doing this for 8 years, so like I get how people can fucking judge me. I really don't give a fuck about that petty shit. Like it like really doesn't matter. It's like, how are you doing, Like what have you done type of shit, For us to like, for the collective, most respectively, to lean towards some type of collective comfort that you're effing experiencing. Thank you very much. So the great paradox, the dark individual, moon in Scorpio, the Scorpio having the ability to just be a great paradox, right? And be kind of like on the headline of the post Libra energies, right? Because the post Libra energies, that's Scorpio, and the Libra energies, it's kind of like setting like the spiritual stage of this shit, Of like of just like the rest of the next 6 months of the astrological year, new year. And 6 months is 6 months, So much could happen in 6 months. Why 6 months? 6 6, double six. Six being, some type of middle point of the pentagram, right? As the predecessors already told us. So within that center point of the pentagram, it then turns into the hexagram. And within the hexagram is its own natural order of its own shaping. And within that natural order of its own shaping, there's two sixes. And the second six, Libra to Pisces, that's the quote unquote surface level darker six, but that's the spiritual light six. And the first six is the physical light six, Aries through Virgo, and then Aries through Virgo, that's the spiritual you know it's the spiritual dark six. So it's already known type of shit, So within moon and Scorpio, each like zodiac constellation having roughly 5.25 I Ching gates within it, because there's kind of like an enmeshing within its rotation of kind of like new cyclical amplitudes of different constructs of different orbital type of dynamical beings, original open source to original galactic artificial intelligence. So within moon and Scorpio, it's starting off the great paradox of like simultaneously a unique modesty could be there, or a unique disturbance could be there, or darkness could be there. So thank you very much. You have a great life.